We now come to the last part of this question. It says, in relation to the diagram shown in figure C above, the bottom right-hand corner of one of the glass rods touches the corrugated cardboard 17.029 from the left-hand edge of the box. Okay, what is that saying? You might have to read that a few times, but what it's saying there is that right here, now it actually doesn't matter where you draw it, but it would probably be around here. That point right there, this point here, so let me just read this again. The bottom right-hand corner of one of the glass rods touches the corrugated cardboard. So as you can see, it's touching the corrugated cardboard 17.029 centimeters from the left-hand edge of the box. So here's the left-hand edge. It means right here, the place where the rod is touching the cardboard. This point right here is 17 point, now what was it? I've already forgotten. It was 029, wasn't it? 029. That's that point right there. We don't know what the y is of it. Okay. We continue. It says, if the glass rods have a cross-sectional area of p squared square centimeters, find the value of p, express your answer correct to 2 decimal places. What a fantastic question this is. Now, the thing that I would really want you to take note of here is the fact that we know something about this right here. And that is that these rods, we have been told, are in the shape of squares. And the reason why that's so important is because now when we come and look at this, we've been told that the area of this thing is p squared. So that must mean that this length here is p and this length here is p. So all we need to do is find the value of p. That's what we need to do. And how can we find the value of p? Well, there are 2 different ways we could go about it. We could find this length here, or we could find this length here. It's whatever you think is easiest. Now, if I know that this here is 17.029, I can find out what this will be. I can figure out what my y value will be. I'll call it y. Y is simply going to be h of 17.029. So I can come to my calculator here and I can define what h is. So let's come up here. And I probably don't have to define it. This is probably one of those examples where defining it. I didn't use my CAS this much for this question, which is interesting. Normally we're using our CAS quite a bit for these questions. For this one, not so much. So this is going to be, now, it's going to be negative trig sine. Now I know what n is. N is 0.4. So I'm going to put in 0.4. Now, you got to be careful. It's not just 0.4. It's 0.4 pi. So it's 0.4 pi, close the brackets, plus 1 to it. So negative sine 0.4, and I've got the next there as well. My goodness. What are you doing? And let's put a times in there. So negative sine 0.4 x plus 1. Okay, and then once we've done that, I now need to sub in 17.09. I could define this and do all of that, or I can just do this. I can go, all right, and we're going to let x be equal to 17.029. We hit enter. That's going to be my answer, 0.442081. Okay, so that means y is equal to 0.44208 ... Now, I don't want to round it off yet. And the reason why is because I want to say all rounding to the last step. Now, how does this help me? How does this help me, people? Well, if I know that that's the y value, so this point right here is 17 and the y is 0.44. Okay, that's fantastic. How can I now find what this value here is going to be? Well, obviously it's going to have the same, this value, isn't it? It's going to be 17.029. And then this is simply 2, isn't it? Because we know it's 2 up. So that means I can tell you what this length here is, what p is. P is going to be equal to 2 minus 0.44. So as you can see, all I'm doing here is I'm taking the 2, and I'm subtracting it from this, that right there. And after doing that, now this is where I want to use my unrounded one just to get the most accurate answer here. It's going to be 1.5579. Okay. So that means now what I can say is that P, and I need to grab this. P is 1.5579 dot dot dot. Now, this is where you got to be careful. You need to make sure that you show all your working in the correct spot. If you do all your working up here, that's, that's great, but you're not going to get any marks for it. Your working needs to be in the correct place. And the correct place to put it is here. So that means P is going to be equal to 1.56, just like that. And that's all it needed, wasn't it? We just needed to say that, and then we're all done. Because we know now, if we take this and we square it, that's P squared, and that is going to be the area of, the area of this. Okay, so that's how you think through this problem. There's your answer. It said give answer correct to 2 decimal places. We've done that. We've done everything that it's asked of us. A good question there. Hopefully you found this helpful. I'll see you later.